Last time we did this time for everybody.
Yes.
And it was a 15-minute class too, so...
Yeah, we will this time, because this time we're not going to give comments, we're just going to keep moving on, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the video is now recording, so this is the English as a global language. The question is, should English be the exclusive language for education, research, business, tourism, and diplomacy? So, can I ask you to close your laptops, put away your phones. Remember, there is a question and answer part that is required of everybody. So there are some question and answer. The question and answer sections come after between persons 2 and 3, persons 4 and 5, and persons 6 and 7. So everyone should ask at least one question during the debate. Okay. That's part of your interactive score. Okay.
I have some small notes in the page.
Okay. I asked you to use a note card. I'd rather use a note card because in the IB exam you cannot use your iPhone. Okay. There's little pieces of paper there if you want to use that. So.
Sir, can I use that?
Nope. It's a note card. Just like an IB exam. If you do an IB exam, you fail. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with persons 1 and 2. And just go ahead and start away. I'm back here invisible, just taking some notes.
Should I
So,
read?
just a second. Okay, Michael, you're ready. Go ahead.
Hello everyone. Today me and my team are against English as being an exclusive or global language for everyone to speak. And just a simple question, are you ready to never communicate in your mother tongue language again? And everyone has different languages that they speak and every country has different languages. And every country has different culture, and every culture explains the different language that someone has. And English is now spoken in many cultures, and most people in these countries are not satisfied with English as being their government language, such as India when we studied at the beginning of the year. And about 400 million people speak English, and that's a high percentage, but there is a variety of languages that people should speak, and it explains the world much better, and that's how people can communicate in a lot and variety of languages. Thank you.
Okay, person 2.
We think that English shouldn't be a global language, and we have several reasons to support it. Languages are not what we only use to communicate with the others. It's also a part of our culture and identity. If we use English as a global language, which means we have to lose a part of our knowledge and culture, even our identity. Languages are all different and unique. I don't think people all around the world will betray their own culture just because of English. There are many languages are dying just because we use many people, more and more people, use major languages as their native language. If English becomes a global language, which means there will be more and more language will extinct, and I think people will not let their own culture die.
Okay, thank you. So, person 1 and 2 from
Number 1 and 2.
Yes.
Yes, you are number 1 and number 2. If you're doing both questions?
I did.
Yeah. So probably just take a little pause and
Yeah, sure.
check the second one so I know which one is which.
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am going to explain to you why English should be used as a global language, and I'm going to discuss the reasons. So imagine a world where we're all unified and there are no differences, and there's no one telling us you speak differently, you sound different, it doesn't sound good. And imagine where we can all come together and speak the same language, and there's no discrimination against our languages or person as like, yeah. So with English, this could be possible, and if we use this as a global language, which is a reasonably easy language to learn, we can be all unified, and it could be a prosperous, peaceful world. And a great example would be our school, LAS. So that's the end of number one. So in our argument, you are going to hear some of the stories of why English is going to be a good idea to use as a global language, and also some of the stories that are going to be backed up by my other fellow colleagues. Again. And I just want you to close your eyes for a second and think why we're here. And we're also basically here to learn English, so that is why we're supporting this argument. And yeah, thank you.
So I will give 1 minute to Team A, this team on the right, to pose questions to Team B. So you have to pose a question. You can direct it to the team or to an individual, but it should be a question that allows them to answer. Then after 1 minute, you guys will have a chance. Okay. So everyone should participate in this part.
Yeah.
Either now, you'll have a chance later. Okay.
You said.
I said Team A.
Ah.
Guys, you said that
You have 1 minute now to ask.
you said that if everyone spoke English, there would be no discrimination against the language.
Right.
But even if now there is many accents on English. There is Arabic English, Indian English. There's others, so there could be discrimination, right?
Well, you have a good point. There are different accents, but then think about how, and I'm of course not trying to be discriminative myself, but like when you hear someone speaking Arabic in like an English culture, and then you know how like because they have like a very closed mind, I guess they would say, oh my God, this guy is like a terrorist, or like I don't know. Yeah, they have like these stupid conceptions, you know, concept in their mind.
Even if you spoke Arabic English, it would be the same.
I guess it's better because it's speaking the same language, so like at least you can understand what he's saying. But then yeah, I understand what you mean, but with the accents. But I think it just would be better because now we can understand like each other. So.
Mr. Can I
No.
support that?
Yeah.
It's just because now everyone speaks different language, but if everyone speaks English, it would be the same language with only different accents instead of 100 different languages.
Yes, but yeah, if they discriminate, for example, at Arabs, they would do the same even if he speaks English and with an Arabic accent. It would be the same.
Well, the good part would be that they would understand what you're saying. So therefore, even if they like, it is our global language, and we're all speaking the same thing, the same language. So
I gotta cut off guys. So
Sure.
I'll give your team, Team B, 1 minute to ask questions. Same thing. So as you're just a hint, I would prepare questions as you're listening, and then you're ready to go. Okay, go ahead.
Majid, you said when people start speaking language, culture is dying. Like, why do you say that?
If everyone speaks English, then their culture may be different.
Yeah, but you can still like keep your own traditions and all this stuff at home.
I mean, language is a part of your culture. If you lost language, that means you lost your culture.
No,
You don't have Kazakh poems or stories.
yeah, we have. But
Can you translate it in Google Translate?
No, but we have
doesn't know
translated in English.
It will not be the same.
There's no perfect language that can like express everything in all the language. So
So English is a language that can express.
No, but there's no language to express it.
So it's
So
better
you're a
to
winner.
use your own language, not as
Yeah.
not
Okay, now I have a question. Okay. Majid, are you ready to never communicate with like me or Apollo or anybody in this room except Abdul? Because you said like you mentioned there is like you will never like speak in your mother tongue. So how you like okay speak in your mother tongue, but how you gonna communicate with Mr. Dupree if you want to ask about the homework or Mr. Dexter?
In English.
For you.
But
Yeah.
your
Yeah, but you said like
argument
But
is
I'm
against.
not,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not ready to not speak my mother tongue language.
Okay, so we already.
So he's not ready
Do you
to speak
want-
with me in
Do
English.
you want English as your like your country's
Only language.
official language?
And I will answer this question when I'm going to be up there.
Okay, guys. Let's move on to persons 3 and 4 for each team. After that, there'll be another question and answer session, so continue to prepare your questions.
They go
Thank
like
you
3, 4, and then us go
3, 4, then question answer. Okay, Abdul.
Good morning, everyone. A person's most important document is usually his passport. If someone loses his passport, he becomes a person with no identity. All of you are non-native English speakers. If English became as a global language, it would cause the extinction of many other languages. What if it was your language that is being extinct? Every community of people develop their own language or way of communication. Every country, every state, every city, and even in every house. Even within a group of people, they develop words and phrases that only they could understand. Like this, we can see how language can relate to the connection between people. Over time, history, religion, and culture are all bound up in our language. For example, the African slaves taken into the Caribbean were forced to speak their master's language. They developed a language called Creole by having English vocabulary and African grammar. When we listen to this language, we can hear the history of this group of people. Finally, when you take somebody's language away, the communication will be hard because when you take on a new language, you have to take on a new identity. The communication and intimate relationship will be hard too. Can you imagine to communicate with your parents in a language rather than your own? Or the communication between you and God? I think it's very hard to communicate in a language other than your own, to pray or to ask God for something. I tried once to communicate, to pray in English, and it really felt unnatural, and I didn't feel the same person as I am in Arabic. Thank you.
Person 4.
Okay. Now I give some data to support our team's idea. In our world, there are over 850 million people speak English as their native language or second language. And by the way, they also have 50% of total population speak their own language, and such like in Africa, Australia, and some parts of Europe. And there are over like 6,000 to 7,000 language for this week, and but also until 2100 the language will decrease and the people because of people use common language such like English to instead of their language. And for example, the ethnic group who lived in Australia before the England colonies come here, and they all speak their own language, and after that there are less people and less than less than 10,000 people speak our language. Yes, it's not quite like their culture and their language dying in because of the other culture and other language invade their culture.
Thank you. Question 3 and 4 from the other team.
Trying to decide what a global language is something which is very hard to grip on, basically. And despite the fact that that we have constant hearing about a global problem and in the global village about the mother tongue and the English language, and there is a lot of interconnected people in the village also, which have two different sides, and they are basically sometimes in the English side, also in the mother tongue. And we still don't have a really clear message on what is actually going on about the fact about the debate. There are many debates which are taking place about how mother tongue should still be carried on, or like English should be the perfect language which everyone should be speaking. Also, how we measure a language as a global language. At the same time, we try to like another language because we find many opportunities and many different ideas in a specific language, but we always have this one strong emotion about all people around the world, and everyone has an opinion about language. It would be a peaceful world if we could communicate better, and we could communicate with every single person in English, and if they make it a global language, there would be no misunderstandings, miscommunication, and the people would cooperate more. The companies and industries and business, everything would start working in a process, and also they could have more profits, and also everyone in like the science and the technology, and then the technology will take an advance because of more communication, and things would work more faster. And even if language like a purpose, there's like more trade happening between many countries, and there won't be more war or anything taking place. Also, as we say, like the language shouldn't be forced, but it should be a part of a country, and that's it.
Okay, question 4.
Yes, you can do for the.
Yeah, if you touch my laptop, you should be able to wake it up. I'll get to the password.
What's your password?
It's your middle name.
Hmm?
It's your middle name.
Mine? I don't have it. Maybe.
Besh, if you want to help her control it.
Yeah.
Tell me when you want
Yeah.
money. Tell me when you want me to.
Okay, I will do like that, okay?
Sure.
Hello everyone. First, I would like you to think, what language are you speaking right now? Yeah, the answer is easy, English. According to this graph made in 2003, 35.2% of the population of the whole world speak English. This number has been increasing over years, and this is a great point why have English as a global language. There is no other language to compare with that. The one that comes after English is Chinese, with only 11% of the speakers. Here there's a map with the level of English speakers in each area. 40% of the map has at least 40% English speak level, and 80% of the graph has 20% speakers. If you put a map like that with the Chinese language, it wouldn't be even half of the numbers. The third one is also about that, and by having English as a global language, it would be easy to improve since there's already sort of knowledge in many areas, and there are areas with a high level English and concentrate areas with a low level. Actually, there's a great price of the translations. There would be no cost of translations if everyone would do their documents and everything in English. Countries are paying too much to translate documents and they are too expensive. Here there are some data to translation to other language. And a simple document is about different price in each country, but the countries could save that money to spend in something else, since English would be a global language. And if you are here now studying English, it's because it has an importance in your life. That's all.
Okay, so team A on the right. Wait.
Yes, да.
So team A on the right, you have 1 minute to pose questions to team B. Okay?
Good evening.
Yep.
I have a question to Sahara. He said that if English was a global language, it will cause less war, right? If English was a global language, it will cause less war.
Yeah.
What about the war between England and America?
I mean, there's like misunderstandings sometimes. That's what I said. It would not really. It will like decrease, not like totally end the war, but at least they'll have more communications. So then they'll understand each other and they might resolve some problems.
But there is translators, and I think like two big countries will just misunderstand each other. Right?
But think about how many wars are between countries that don't speak the same language and between countries that speak the same language.
In the Middle East, most of the wars are between two Arab people.
Okay, but there is a whole world with much more countries.
Can I just add?
And you said about the translation that what I just said is like expensive to translate, and it's not only just documents, but if you have like a debate, you have to
But it's
pay
more
attention.
expensive to teach people how to speak English.
Not really.
If everyone has it in school, it would be much easier.
Like you can take an example of why aren't we speaking? Why aren't we speaking in Arabic? Why isn't she speaking in Chinese? Why are we all speaking in English?
Okay,
So it's like we're learning from when we are small.
Take example of yourself, like you're paying here 100,000 francs. It would be much less in your life if you always translate in English, right?
How many things will you have to translate in your whole life?
Yeah, I'm going to flip it back to team B. So team B, you can ask questions.
I have a question for you.
Okay, and I would also ask that you give a chance to other people on your team who haven't had a chance to ask. Just a tip, okay?
Okay, go.
I want to ask a question. You said that your passport is your identity. Some people don't even have passports, so that means they don't have an identity.
Yeah, but their languages are their identity, right?
You said the passports are their identity.
It's usually
Most
someone
important
who's
identity.
like if someone is considered without identity, but if he has his language, he is considered as a person with identity.
You know, you said the way how it's not that expensive to translate,
Yeah.
like document. Well, actually, there's a lot of hassle. For example, from personal experience, when it comes with me and my dad, and like he gives me a document and he asks me to like translate it. Like if he actually spoke English, it would make his work much easier, in my opinion.
But I think if he like wrote really good words in Persian, and then he gave it someone to translate it, it will give a clearer idea, because he's not, even if he studied, he's not like as smart writer as he is in Persian.
You said that it's expensive to. It's not expensive to teach people, but it is expensive to translate. Well, some people have different learning abilities, and they cannot learn maybe English, but there's only two ways to read. You read or you don't read.
Yeah, but we are not saying like we have to like everyone should like learn English now, and English should be like become like global language like next year, and everyone should stop.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
It's
are
gonna
saying
be
this.
like over the period of time, like maybe even next generation.
But
And nobody is saying that we have to forget our our
No
mother
one.
tongues and everything should be in English. No.
If you always speak in English, many like you
You won't
won't speak in
What?
you won't speak in Russian.
Yeah,
You
in
always
few
speak
generations, the
But it's your
language
choice to
No,
forget
no, no.
your mother tongue.
no, the debate
Okay,
is
wait
about
for my
being only
camera
one
to-
language in the world.
Okay, I gotta stop it there, guys. We've got one more question and answer session after persons 5 and 6 on both teams. So again, I'd like to hear from some people who haven't asked a question. Maybe think about what you want to say. Okay, so let's move on. Team A, person 5, and then person 6.
Не можешь с этого перейти?
Да.
Да, он сказал.
Ладно. Actually, hello. So, we don't think that English should become a global language because if it does, the culture will lose its existence because a lot of unique documents are written in only that language, and some of the documents are translated into English and some of them don't, and they represent the culture, and you can only find out about the culture from those documents. And for example, in Russia there are 27 official languages and 100 unofficial. And if you want to teach people, like I use Russia as an example because Russian speakers in your group, and you can't teach them English or any other language because they don't even know. Some of them don't even know Russian, even though they live there. And if you want to do that, you have to start from the zero, and it will cost a lot of money, and you will spend like so much time to do that. And I think that's why. Yeah. Thank you. Я забыл.
Vai, Apolo Brother.
Отвратительно.
Surfer boy.
Okay. You guys can't turn English as like exclusive language for all these things. First of all, it will cost a lot of money to do this, and the second, it will be very hard to teach everybody. Like there's parts in Brazil, people don't even know how to speak Portuguese well, and they'll learn English. Like, it makes no sense. And another thing, how would you guys feel if your language died? Imagine you being like the last Russian speaker in the world. That wouldn't be good, and you will lose like all your slangs and your expressions that you have in your language, and you can translate in English. You will lose all of that, so you will never be capable to express yourself as you do today. Imagine no more Portuguese, no more Russian, no more Mandarin, I don't know. And another thing, imagine everybody speaking like just the same language. Imagine like an example like a funny thing about here, there's like I can say things in Portuguese that no one can understand me. Like imagine like finish that. It would be so boring, like one word that everybody speaks only one language. Like I think it's one of the good things like differences, you know. And that's it.
Let's follow person 5 from Team B.
Yes, please.
Cara, eu fico falando, eu esqueço de respirar, velho.
Não, eu fui no quarto.
Okay, so our group's opinion is that English should be the global language. There are many reasons why English should be, and there's a lot of reasons why English should not be a global language. Yes, if English does become the global language, it could mean that we will lose our identity and our culture, but this wouldn't affect the world. It would only affect our emotional feelings towards it. If English does become the global language, it will affect the world by becoming easier for people to communicate in government, politics, and technology. For example, if English was the global language, the cost of translating books, movies, and science will be much cheaper, and it would be easier and faster for every country to communicate with each other, in airlines, offices, and governments. You would not need a translator.
So my main argument is when people don't speak the language, the culture isn't dying. Like for example, me, like I don't know Kazakh language, but I know like all the traditions like that we have in Kazakhstan. I know like all the celebrations and all the stuff that we do in Kazakhstan, but I don't know the language. So that's my argument that the culture isn't dying. So as we also said, no discrimination would be like much more better to all the people that are here now. Have you ever like judged someone like who doesn't speak English well that he's like less intelligent or anything like that? I know some of you did. So English would unify us like a lot. Like, we would communicate with each other much more. Like, and before, like the Kazakhstan was divided like into three parts, like of like different, like they were considered like different people. But then they became unified because like the president said like all the people are the same and we should live together. So that's why we should live together and just have one language and stop speaking others.
You look
You look bad,
Okay, well, 1 minute for teammate to pose questions to TV. I've encouraged those who haven't spoken up to take this opportunity.
I want to ask a question to Malcolm. You said that you know every Kazakh's traditional celebration and festivals and all, even though you speak Russian.
Yes.
But do you have any idea will you still know them if you started to speak English?
Yeah.
Can you express them in English?
Yeah.
You sure about it?
He doesn't know the Kazakh language, but he's still being part of the country and the culture. So.
Because you speak Russian, it's the same.
Yeah.
No, it's not the
No,
same.
it's not the same.
Kazakh language is totally
Kazakh is
different.
like Turkish.
You,
it's
what do your family speak?
Russian.
So that's why it's the same.
What if you
And if
already
you're
have
from
a
Wait,
Indonesia, you do that's the same.
We would speak in English, like we would just translate like all those traditions into English.
Yes.
You said that it would be less cheaper to translate, right? But can you translate Shakespeare into Japanese? It would make sense.
Of course, it's not gonna be completely like Google Translate, same thing. It won't be every
It won't make
language.
sense.
You just
Yeah.
made
But-
points against yourself, man.
What?
Because you said like, yeah,
translate?
Shakespeare. Can you translate Shakespeare? And Shakespeare is written in English. So why should you translate in like your mother tongue?
Yeah, but can you translate like something in Russian to English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's not
giving
gonna.
an
It's
example.
not gonna be.
You can't.
It's not gonna be like the same.
Can I
in
just-
the
Of
same
course,
stuff.
it's not gonna be-
But the idea, you're gonna carry the idea.
Like in Arabic, we have a lot of poets and this stuff. You can't. If I say it in English, you won't understand any words.
Wait, did we ever say that we need to stop writing like in our mother tongue
Yes.
or something? No.
You said
This is
English
like-
is being
like
as a
books,
global language.
English should.
School. At school, you write. I only write at
Global
school. I don't
language,
write at
we
home.
mean for education,
Yeah.
for like government, for school.
But
And
then,
But at
but
home you
then
can
the new
create
generation,
all this stuff, you can do it in your
the
mother
new generation won't speak it. Won't
It
study
doesn't-
Russian,
It
right?
can be like two languages, like English and your mother tongue, and there is no problem. There is no like gonna be like fight between
But
languages.
if everyone speak English, no one will speak Russian anymore.
Wait, you know your
And
mother tongue,
What?
and you know English, right?
Yes.
So what's the problem? There should be. You can communicate with other nations.
But if
you
I
communicate-
communicate with him in English, I will forget my language. I will not even.
The kids in school, they will only learn English. When
But
they start to
that's what I
communicate
said.
with their
English
friends.
became a
Communicate
global-
like in your mother tongue, and English should be like civilized. Like, if you take like for just your country, you can have like a English as second official language, but like your first is gonna be mother tongue.
Then
And the-
I will speak with everyone in English, right?
No.
No.
We're
No,
just
because
telling
you're
you
living
there's
once a
a
global
really
language,
high
I need to think
possibility
that everyone
that
has
you
to
will
think
lose your own country.
Can you repeat?
Don't get angry. It's just.
Nobody listen to me.
Okay, guys, I want to give a chance to Team B. So Team B,
What we're trying,
the idea is to pose questions and let them respond. Okay.
what we're trying to say is not you shouldn't turn everything like
That's not a question.
into English. No, it's a statement. No, because Abdul is like saying,
Okay, well, ask a question.
can I make a statement?
No.
No, I won't say.
Can I just say an argument?
It's not. It's got to be a question.
We don't really have questions.
If they respond, then you can respond to that.
Do you think that English doesn't have special expressions like your mother tongues?
No,
So it has.
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't? Oh,
Same,
mistake.
same
It does.
expression.
Hmm?
Same expressions as our mother tongue.
Not the same, different expressions, but you cannot translate them to
Nikita,
Arabic.
Nikita, there's things that are like impossible to translate. There are expressions like that where I live in Brazil that people from other parts from Brazil don't understand me. Like I say, think they like, what are you saying, man?
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
And I can't
translate some
put, if
English
I can't put like
expressions to
this
your
in Portuguese, like. how
Well,
can
we're
I
not
do that in
we're not
English?
trying to say you should translate everything into English. We're just saying use it as a tool. We're not enforcing it so that like everyone, you know, it's just that if you know it, it's easier to communicate with one another.
Yeah, but I think it's like once you start using it at like on government, on schools, on everything,
When
your
it's-
mother tongue will start like
Apple.
being less.
You're using
But
that
that's
for
what
every-
you do. Like now here at school,
Yeah,
you use it for
teacher.
education, like English language, right?
You can
So
you
come
still
back to
talk
come
on
back
your
to
language to your
Brazil and
friends
learn
outside
everything
of
in Portuguese.
school.
No, I say like in a short period, it's okay. But if you're still doing
Yeah, you're
in
gonna
a
do.
few generations, your language will start.
Are you going to
Yeah,
live in
Our
Brazil?
culture, you.
But that's your parents'
Yeah, but
job
if
to
you-
teach you your language while you learn English at school. Or you
Already.
can learn other language. Like we learn English as some learn Spanish or French or other language. It doesn't mean we're not learning English if we learn French. If we learn more than one language.
It's on the side.
Especially when you are young.
So you
Let
can
me say
learn
like,
Brazilian, right?
It's Portuguese.
Portuguese.
I can.
How? It's for English is for
My
education.
parents speak Portuguese.
Yeah, but you can learn like grammar, vocabulary, and
I can if my school has both languages.
how education English is for
Do you have
education.
French lesson?
Huh?
Do you have French lesson?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Or Spanish or one of them. And if you had, you could learn both.
You have French. You told me what's the French homework.
Okay, guys, I think we got to finish up. So we're going to move on to persons 7 and 8. If we have a little bit of time, we can open it back up for a little more discussion. Thank you.
I love art.
Oh, great. Put your glasses.
I deal with the guys, let's be respectful to the speaker. Okay?
As we heard from both sides, we now understand that if English becomes a global language, we might lose our culture, our family. Well, we won't lose our family, but we will lose the communication between them. And like in Turkish, we have some expressions that cannot be translated to any language, not even some Turkish part people understand, like Brazilian. We have unique things, we have unique syllables, we have unique tenses we don't understand. And many of you said, oh, let's like make English a global language and we won't forget our mother tongue. How do you know that? You cannot know. But if there's a chance that I'm not going to speak Turkish again, I won't take it. Because it's not logical. What would happen if you lose your mother tongue, Becca? Huh? Would you feel bad? Would you feel good? Yes.
Or if my language.
That was a rhetorical question.
No, but he said my name.
It's okay, so you have to wait.
And you, Sergey, what would you do? Would you sit and speak English with your friends and with your family at Ukraine?
No problem.
No problem. Yes. But, for example, you want to say something in Russian, but you want to express a Russian expression in English. What would you do? You're like, oh, wait, that cannot be translated because there are no words for English.
Then I'll say in my mother tongue. What's the problem?
You would say in your mother tongue. What about the other people? If they don't know Russian, what would they do? If your friends didn't know Russian because they think global language is more important than Russian, they will go like, what's he saying?
So I'll say it in English.
Guys,
It's
He's like pointing and asking us like
yes,
straight
but
questions.
you cannot say it in English because there's no expression in English. You would go confused. That's why we are saying you should not make global language English a global language. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Turn in English as the language you use on work and everything. Of course, we'll kill all the language. You guys can't doubt of that because like your parents will think like when they have a child like what do I teach in Portuguese if like everybody speak English, the government's in English, schools in English, everything you just use English. So your mother tongue will be useful, will be useless. And another thing, you lose culture, you lose music, and it's selfish to turn English as a universal language because you're forgetting about their other people, other cultures, different things. And you can do this just to turn your life easier. Like life it's not that easy and you have like to understand people and find a way to communicate. The money you spend to translate stuff, it's okay because it's most important to have your culture than to like spend some money translating things. And then another thing that good because like sometimes I know people it's from Brazil because just not because of their face because we have like very different kind of people, but just because of the language and the accent. Like once here in Lausanne, I was walking on the street and there was this girl, you know, and I said like, "Oh, she's pretty" in Portuguese, and then she turned back and said like, "Oh, you're Brazilian," and I was like, "Oh no," and like, but we started having a conversation. "Oh, where are you from?" In Brazil, and this thing. So this is a good thing. I think that's the only way I can know if someone is Brazilian or not, is by the language. Like I hear people speaking Portuguese with Brazilian accent, I know he's Brazilian. There's no other way to understand that. That's it.
We should be united.
Okay, team person 7 and 8.
Hello. My role in this debates is just to remind you our positions, our points. As my group already
Hey,
said.
can I interrupt? Sorry, I think we're gonna run out of time a little bit, so if we could just stay a couple of extra minutes. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
To go to Brazil, please.
I'll send an email.
You give notes.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
As my group already said, the global language is one that people worldwide generally acknowledge as being a global language. So a lot of people use it to in conversations. And this is exactly about English. It's acknowledged like a global language. And nobody will argue with it, because no, all this class use English. If we all also, if we all will speak English, the same language, we will understand each other much better. And you can see, as you can see from Maria's graphs, people already use English in lots of countries, and it will be easy for everybody to use English. That is why English should be a global language.
Thank you. Enjoy your corona. Okay, let's let Sergi finish up. And then don't forget your journal assignments, your reflection. I'll send you the video. Thanks, Sergi.
What about the question? What about the question?
For the journal?
No, like.
Technically, there's no more question answer, but if you guys want to do that, we can continue. Okay, go ahead, Sergi.
Hello guys, so I'm finishing our debate. So our position is English should be the exclusive language, and for sure our mother tongues, they're like part of our identities, our thinking, like habits, belief, and basically theory of knowledge of like your life, because like your parents told you all this like in your mother tongue, but there is totally different people sitting in this room. Imagine if you say your debate in all your mother tongue. It's gonna be disaster. Nobody would understand. They're gonna just like they're two gonna understand each other. You are and like free Russians and stuff. And really, English should be. It's already kind of a global language because like we are here in LA speaking it like around the world when you travel. Everything like not everything, but a lot of in English, and we're really saying that there should be one language to communicate other nations, to make like a peaceful world with like trading, work, tourism and stuff. So you're guys wrong because you are kind of misplacing our position, because we're not saying you have to forget your mother tongue. Speak it like outside of like with your friends. Speak it like anywhere you can, but there should be one language to communicate with others. Thank you.
Alright guys, thanks very much. You just need to do your journal reflections, enjoy your kind of long weekend. And thank you for your debates. Keep your little note cards. If you don't want to keep them, you can recycle them. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Пойдем.
Yes.
Я все сочинил прямо здесь.
Yeah, gangster.
So it was okay? It was good, yeah. The first debate's always a hard one because it's the first time, but by the last one we do next semester, you guys will all be master debaters. Yeah. Hey, Kakit.
Just kind of come to the school like this every day.
You prefer that?
Yeah, much better. Formal.